Hey, how's it going? Oh boy, I'm still running for mayor, aren't I? Yep, still doing it. The only thing I needed to run for mayor of Ottawa, Ontario was 25 signatures from random people and $200 as a deposit that you get back. Sounds easy, right? Right? I knocked out the majority of those 25 signatures with one impromptu fan meetup that I threw together last minute, and then I got the rest from my family and friends. I don't know if you know this, but 25 signatures is not very many signatures. And in fact, even if I didn't have access to my online presence, I'm pretty sure I could get that just by sitting on a park, waving down some elderly folk. Hey, you look like a nice young man. I'll give you a signature for mayor. Sure, why not? I could probably knock that out in an afternoon. 25 signatures is a suspiciously low number of signatures. I mean, you can't win mayor with 1,000 times that many signatures. So why is the barrier to entry there so low? Now, granted, I got 50 because there's some worry that some of those signatures might be invalid, or some of the signatures which have to be tied to specific addresses in Ottawa might be fake, right? So you want to aim for more in case they double check the addresses, but even 50 signatures is not a lot of signatures. So essentially, if you have $200 lying around and an afternoon free to collect some signatures from random people, you can run for mayor. That's not hard. That part of the process is extremely easy. But everything beyond this point is hell. It sucks. Municipal election laws are so complicated and so vast that you are either going to have to actively read all of the legal documents, and we all know my opinion about reading here, okay? Never going to happen. Or you have to get a guy whose job it is to just look at the legal stuff, look at the legality of everything, and tell you what's what, be a human encyclopedia. And then you just have to pray they're interpreting things correctly. Just hope. This is a pretty big general issue I'm running into with my campaign. If you're just trying to follow the law, right, that's a task in and of itself. But if you're trying to push the bounds of the law, here's an example, right? My election signs we've been putting up recently, and these signs say Gregory Guevara for blank, and you fill in whatever you want me to do. One of these signs says, hey, come on, you random passerby, grab this marker and write whatever you want me to do in the blank, and I'll do it. Obviously, the elections people aren't writing bylaw for this specific eventuality. They just say, you're not allowed to vandalize signs. Okay, so now technically, if we ask people to do this, we're asking them to break the law by vandalizing the signs, which should get them fined. Even though we're explicitly telling them it's okay to vandalize the sign, it's still illegal. And then, we have to ask the elections people about this, and they say, I don't know, we'll get back to you in 4 days. This is one small example of the infinitely many campaign election laws that there are, that you have to somehow be aware of all of them simultaneously. I would be very surprised if anybody actually enforced the vast majority of these laws, but they're there. They're there so that they're in the back of your mind while you're doing stuff. And they're there so that they can get you if they want to get you. I notice among regular political people who I've been interacting with, there's a huge amount of neurosis around following these election campaign laws. And I don't fundamentally get it because I haven't been burned by it yet, but I assume if everyone is neurotic about something, there's probably a reason for it. Still, it seems silly to me. I mean, there's not like an all-seeing eye watching one guy take the marker and write something on the sign if no one's complaining about it, right? But still, every little thing like that has to be passed through, a legal team being like, can we do it? Can we do it? And let's say you're, I don't know, some neurotic fella, a little worried about getting in trouble for pushing the envelope in some ways. Then you're going to want to have somebody read the laws for, I don't know, say, putting up election signs. And if you don't have someone doing that for you, I hope you like to read. I hope you like reading, buddy. Here's 50 pages of legalese on the signs. I hope you read all of it, and I hope you like it. I really do hope you like it, because I don't. I don't like it. Now, I just showed you 50 pages of legalese, right? You can pause at any point. It's just about the signs. That's not everything you need to run a campaign. That's just the signs. That's the signs. That's one tiny part of the That's just the sign. Essentially, what I'm getting at here is you are putting yourself at a massive legal liability if you do not have a political infrastructure around you ahead of time in order to deal with all this stuff. There was one brief moment where my team was terrified because we had put up all these signs and posters around town, and then turns out you need like this one tiny specific piece of text on all of your posters and signs saying that you've authorized and purchased them from your campaign, even though it should be obvious, right? Because like, it's your campaign. What, even if someone was faking it, why would they could just fake the line of text? I don't know. Anyway, we were going to go back to all of our signs and write this line of legal jargon onto it. And then it turns out, oh, actually it's a federal campaign law or a provincial campaign law, but on a municipal level, it's a gray area. And then we noticed like none of the other candidates were doing it, even the front runners, obviously, the other front runners, because, you know, I'm pulling a 90%. I've been dealing with stuff like this for 2 months and I hate it. I hate it. I have people doing it for me so that I don't have to do it. And the top level management of doing it is, I hate it. I don't know. I don't want to do this anymore, to be honest. And that's just signs and posters and such. Do you want to talk about campaign financing? Do you want to talk about campaign financing laws? Because I have opinions about campaign financing laws now. Do you want to hear my opinion? Do you want to hear my opinion about campaign finance laws? I corner you at a party and start talking about campaign finance laws for 40 minutes. What do? I had to set up a separate account for campaign finance law, which took at least a week of back and forth because it's a specific kind of nonprofit account. Every dollar that goes into your campaign requires a specific receipt and address from where that money's coming from. Even if someone wants to only give you like $2, you need that receipt. And apparently the city of Ottawa really always cracks down on election financing. And then if you finance over $10,000, you have to hire your own auditor, which is just like enough incentive for me to explicitly not want to fundraise that much money. The point is, you need a full infrastructure of people around you, an entire political infrastructure of people around you. And all of these established politicians have that infrastructure. And if you don't have that infrastructure, you're like trying to win a race with one leg. And these political people, with all this law and jargon, who designed all this politics stuff? It's these politics motherfuckers. There is an archetype of person that is a politics motherfucker. The kind of person who is a politics motherfucker is such a specific kind of person. They're like all the same archetype of person. Even like on the left, on the right, and they're very, very infrequently non-ideological. Like not ideological at all. It's kind of fucked. I mean, I'm on a municipal politics level, which is inherently unideological because the more local you get, the less ideological you get, I feel. But these people are not ideological. Not at all. Who benefits from 1 billion pages of accounting law? It's the accountants. I'm not saying there's a shadowy cabal of accountants, but I'm saying that there's like no incentive for the accountants to want to push for simpler to understand accounting law. And there's actually an incentive for them to push for more complicated accounting law because that benefits the accountants. It benefits the people who are specialized in this specific law stuff. It's the same thing with lawyers, right? The lawyers, you have to pay the lawyer in order to understand all of this I don't know the laws. I don't know any laws. And then who benefits from the 1 billion pages of election law? It's obviously the established politician class who have an infrastructure around them and are not intimidated by all of the hoops you have to jump through in order to function within the system, i.e., it's a big wall to keep your average schmuck out, so not everyone is trying to make a grab at political power. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of wards in Ottawa that are just running completely unopposed for a variety of reasons, but these are some of those reasons. Jesus, did I just make a genuine populist argument based off lived political experience and facts? I gotta go back to the funny squares. I was only able to approximate this kind of political infrastructure using my online presence. If I didn't have that, I would... I don't know. I'd be running the race with 0 legs. If I could do it again, I would not spend any money on the campaign. I would not open the finance account or whatever. I would not try to solicit donations. I would just be like, All right, my whole shtick is just going to be I will do all the posters with marker and paper and call it a day. Well, I say this, but actually these signs do look pretty good. So I'm a little torn because you can't buy these signs unless you have a campaign account to buy them from because they're directly related to your campaign. You can't just purchase them from your own bank account, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we have like 10 of these left. So if you live in Ottawa, buy them, and then we'll sell the rest of them internationally after the campaign ends. Also, we have big signs, too. All right, so what's my conclusion here? Is running for mayor too hard? Is it too easy? Is it good for democracy, the laws we have in place? Is it bad for democracy? Do I even respect the concept of things being good or bad for democracy? I don't know. I don't know. Every day for the last 2 months, I've woken up and my first thought has been, oh God, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I suspect this will continue. Ad. My honesty was only a way of me suckering you in so I could feed you an ad. Hey, Ren's pretty cool. It's like you can do a survey and it tells you how bad you are as a person, and then you can pay money to offset how bad you are, you individually as a person. Here, let me give you a live demonstration of what it's like to use Ren. You can offset up to 100, 200, 400% of the amount of carbon that you personally use. But Ren doesn't just offset your own personal carbon footprint. It also gives money to organizations that lobby for real change in America or wherever you live. I don't know. Institutions like Carbon 180 they're woke is the point. Ren also come on, I know you love mineral weathering in Scotland. Use the link in my description and the first 100 people will get 10 free trees planted in their name.